All right, so welcome to Minnesota Collegiate DECA Career Fair session with Home and Local Services. During this session, DECA members will connect with potential employers and hear firsthand what it's like to work for Home and Local Services. Before we start, I'd like to lay out some ground rules. So please be courteous of the fellow DECA members and the presenter. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat or use the raise hand function on your screen. This session will be recorded and posted on our YouTube channel. Inappropriate behavior of any kind, as determined by our executive director and Minnesota Collegiate DECA policies, will result in immediate removal from this session. Now, I would like to introduce our guests from Home and Local Services, Michael Welter and Gage Donovan. Home and Local Services is a premier digital advertising firm in Minnesota. Please welcome Gage and Michael.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. So I think that the best thing that Gage and I could do is start off with our own individual careers, specifically within Home and Local Services. And if it takes us out of Home and Local Services, which I'm sure with some of Jose's questions it will, and then just kind of talk about what Home and Local Services does, kind of like, kind of what our value proposition is, and then really open it up, to any questions that anybody may have. So having said that, I'll start off with myself. So full disclosure, I've been with Home and Local Services only for a relatively short amount of time, roughly about 4.5 months. I started my civilian career working in the fitness industry, where I ran fitness centers and profit and loss statements and EBITDAs for about 6 years. During my time, I really learned and found that what makes a great business, a successful business, is the staff, specifically training and development, and how leaders and managers can really leverage that. And so what I decided is a career shift. And at that time, I enrolled at Bethel University here in Minnesota. I am currently a full-time student here to get my degree soon in organizational leadership and development. And obviously, a passion of mine is the training and development of staff on an organizational level, which is why I'm the HR generalist here. And during my time at Home and Local Services, it's been great. I absolutely love it. The ownership and the environment make it very, very easy for somebody within HR to do their job. And our company is seeing what I could only describe as parabolic growth, which makes it very, very fun for somebody in the human resources department. We are constantly hiring. And it's not because we have such a, an issue right now during the pandemic. A lot of places are having an issue with staff retention. It's actually the opposite. We're seeing such amazing growth that we need to constantly readjust our staffing to hire more people because of the clientele that we're seeing. So that's a little bit about me. Very small snippet of Home and Local Services. So I'll put myself on mute, and Gage could talk about his experience at Home and Local Services.
Yes, definitely. So a little more, Jose, I think you got this background yesterday. A little more background about myself is that I graduated from Minnesota State University Moorhead in June or July, end of summer semester, whenever the technical date is. And prior to that, for the past, since May of 2020, I've been working as an intern for Home and Local Services. I did that from May to August, the real summer phase. I was in person. The office is in Eden Prairie, so a suburb of Minneapolis. The internship position was specifically in the client onboarding side of things. So whenever we signed a new client, I'd be assisting getting them up and running on our platform and our strategy, which we'll touch on a little bit here in a moment. At the end of that internship, at the end of 2020 summer, it was COVID, of course, as we know. So I knew it was going to be a virtual school year for me. So I was allowed to be retained full-time to become a full-time employee virtually throughout the school year, where I still again worked in that onboarding department, client onboarding department. And then at the end of the year, May, came back down in person, continued my role until about July. And then at that point in time, I took a little shift, which I told you about yesterday, and I worked with traditional media. So that's going to be planning and buying, billboards, outdoor TV, etc., which is different than Home and Local Services. That's going to all be on the digital side of things. And then another pivot at the beginning of this year, I'm back on the digital side of things, working with special projects, which is really just anything that comes up. I think that's really great about the organization is they're able to identify what each individual employee's best strengths and attributes are, and move them around the company to fit that, even perhaps create some new positions because the company is still growing. When I started, I think I was employee 11 or somewhere in there, and now there's about 40 in less than 2 years. So it's been very, very rapid growth, and then our client base has grown along the same trajectory. So it's very cool to be able to be a part of a company with such caliber. I don't know, Michael, if I want to toss it back to you, just talk a little bit about what the company does. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. So home and local services, the best way that I explain it to people, Gage obviously would be able to elaborate more if need be, but the best way that I explain it to people, especially during the screening process, is outward facing home and local services is a digital marketing agency. The digital marketing is very much focused on within a very specific vertical. Some digital market agencies, in fact, most of them will try to focus, kind of hedge their bets and focus throughout a couple different areas. Home and local services, very, very specific. And what that allows home and local services to do is get very, very specific. We're a very dog-friendly office. is get very, very specific with our clients. So who are our clients? Our clients, as the name would suggest, is the home services industry. But specifically within that, it's the home services industry where there is an immediate or emergent need from the client's perspective. So for example, if you own a home and you're like, hey, I really want to get new cabinets or a new countertop, that's really not an emergent need. Very few people are going to say, I need to get this done in 48 hours. However, if you have water coming from the ceiling, that's emergent. It is very cold outside. We live in Minnesota. If your furnace goes down, that's emergent. It's also very, very hot in Minnesota in the summertime. If your AC goes down, that's absolutely emergent. So those things where it's a 48-hour need, that is home and local services bread and butter. And really the reason why that works is really simple. When that emergent need pops up, people use their phones, right? People are going to take out their phone, and what are they going to type in? They're going to go to Google and they're going to say plumber near me, or they're going to go to, some people will go to Bing. I know Gage likes to use Bing every once in a while. Some people are going to go to Bing and say HVAC repair near me or something near me. And what we do is we make sure that when our clients work with home and local services, we create a digital ecosystem that makes sure that through paid search and organic search, that our clients are popping up on a level not only superior and more in depth than what our other competitors may pop up on, but also at a point to where we are able to not only get more leads, but also take those leads and align those needs directly to the individual customer. And really what allows us to do that is, like I said, outward facing. We are a digital marketing agency, but the reality of things, we're a technology agency, and we actually have a proprietary software that allows us to utilize and leverage that technology. So within a nutshell, a little 60-second pitch, that's what home and local services does. Jose, do you have any questions specifically on like what we do, maybe before I start talking about the culture here?
I think I got a good idea. You explained it pretty well. You guys both did. So.
Awesome. Gage, is there anything that you would want to add to that, since you've been here for a while and you kind of really understand things better than I do, honestly?
I think you did a good job for a very high level overview. One key piece that I like to tell people is, could other advertising agencies run their Google ads as good as us? Certainly. One thing that really makes us stand out is once we can get to the website, we align everything to that customer journey that Michael was alluding to already. So our strategy is all encompassing. We have experts in every field, including the paid search, including the strategy development, including the websites, so we can manage that entire digital ecosphere.
Awesome. So one thing that I want to talk about now a little bit is our culture. And for anybody who sees this, you got a snippet of what that culture is like when that tiny little black puppy showed up in this corner. Before this recording started, we were talking about what it's like working in the global pandemic, which is, it's historic. it's unprecedented. There's all these words thrown out there, right? The Great Resignation is happening. Plus, also at the same time, there's inflation happening, and people are saying wages are not matching inflation. And any time that I look at a work culture to decide if I think a work culture is healthy or not, it's very subjective, but you can make it objective. And you can grade it. And throughout my personal experience, my professional experience, and even my academic experience, I've learned you could focus on two things. You look at how an organization spends their resources. And there's two key resources that you look at. Just as individuals, there's two key resources, right? And the first one is going to be time. And time is the most important resource. Because unlike the other resource I'm going to mention, once you spend time, you cannot get that time back. There's no way to get that. You cannot manufacture more time. Time is finite. It is not infinite. It is a set amount every single day that we cannot dictate. And then the other important resource that you look at is money, or financial needs, or funds. Money, unlike time, once you spend it, you can make more of it, right? So it is finite to an extent. That's where the value comes from. But also at the same time, you could always make more. So some things that we do here at Home and Local Services that objectively kind of show the value of our culture is how the company chooses to spend time specifically on staff, how the company chooses to spend money specifically on staff. So I want to give you a couple personal examples. The time aspect, depending on what position people have in the company. Let's take, for example, what we call a search manager, which is really a digital marketing specialist. The digital marketing specialist is going to go through an 8-week training program. Now that 8-week training program, I have people ask me this before, which makes me think that I need to say it. Yes, it is fully paid, but that 8-week training program, it is very, very, very in depth. And it's kind of really broken down into 4 segments of 2 weeks each. The first 2 weeks are just really learning the literature and the client journey that I kind of already explained, and kind of learning about the language of digital marketing, and then also how HLS leverages that language. That takes about 2 weeks. Then the following 2 weeks after that is you kind of have the pieces of the puzzle set aside, you kind of learn the language. Now it's starting to piece that together. And the way that we do that is through watching practice calls and mock calls and even some recorded calls. And that allows the search manager to sit there and look at the puzzle piece and look at the picture and start to put things together and say, okay, now I understand why I need to know certain things. That's about a 2-week period where they also do practice calls with peers. It's a very collaborative environment, and also some of their direct supervisors. Then really the follow-on process from there is they're going to start to do what I call a left seat, right seat, where it's literally going to be, I would be here as the search manager and somebody would be right here kind of as the apprentice is what we call it. And the search manager would be going through the normal call, and the apprentice would be sitting there again, looking at the puzzle pieces. And they're saying, okay, now I'm seeing the real deal. I'm seeing it live. Now it's starting to make sense. It's starting to click. I'm starting to kind of shape my own puzzle and, build the edges around. And then really the last several weeks are just more and more of that, except I am slowly, as the senior search manager, handing most of the conversation off to the search manager until they're able to do their own. So it's very much hand in hand, very collaborative. But that is 8 weeks, which is 2 months. So for an organization in the global pandemic to say, hey, we are going to dedicate 2 months of time and 2 months of money and salary with zero expectation that that person's really going to contribute, that is fascinating. That is something you're not going to see at other places. So that's a big allocation of time. And the allocation of money, so our CEO, to quote her, Kate Donovan, she believes in paying people a fair wage, which is, again, you're not going to find that at other places. You really aren't. And here in the next couple weeks and months, I'm going to be putting together a couple videos and packages of employee reviews that would really be able to attest to that. But the wages are an important aspect, but also so are fun things, right? So for example, it is the month of February. And in the month of February, we decided that every Friday, let's see if I could get it right, we are hosting a February Friday fried chicken feasting challenge or something like that, where literally every Friday we order 50 different chicken sandwiches, spicy and non-spicy, right? And that way the staff can try every single one, and they could figure out which one is best. Today, we had Culver's, last week was KFC, week before that was Popeyes. This upcoming, we're doing Raising Cane's. And that's not something that is uncommon. We actually completely stock an employee fridge. I always joke, but it's very true. Nobody goes hungry here. It just gives a nice thing, you know, when you're kind of a newer college student, if you could keep your expenses low, that's really nice. So to come into work and not have to worry about making lunches and not have to worry about meal prepping, but to come in and to see a fully stocked fridge. We do Costco and Instacart orders twice a week. And to come in and see that, it's just another thing that allows a human being to say, okay, I don't need to worry about that. That can be taken off of my plate, no pun intended. And I could actually start focusing on something that's going to allow me to progress in my career. Whether you're early on in your career, like myself, I've been in HR for 4 months, or whether you've been in your career for a while. We have people who have been in this realm for a long time. You know, that's just another way that we kind of like to show and staff how much we care. And again, to quote our CEO, and really love on staff. So that's a little bit about a culture here. Gage, is there anything that you would want to add to that?
I think even outside of that, just the overall feel and culture of the people that work there, we really hire off of 3 key things, which is going to be your attitude, your effort, and your ethics. So being able to hone in on those 3 things specifically, and almost nothing else that everybody else is going to look at, allows us to build up that culture and to have a very, very fun workplace. We'll have ping pong tournaments. One of our employees, actually, he's pitching some board games that he created to Hasbro. So we had like a board game night, brought in some pizzas. So it's really fun. Everybody enjoys everybody. There's not people that really stay in their own little shell, come in, work, and leave. It's an exciting place to be, which is certainly not something that you're going to find everywhere. I don't know, Michael, what you think? Maybe we do a little bit about Jose. Where are you at right now in your academic journey, or you're working?
Yeah, so it sounds like a really fun place. So right now I'm a marketing and sales management student here in Hutchinson Ridgewater College. I am in the 2nd year right now, and I believe in May I have to have an internship. The professor says if I don't have an internship, I will not graduate. So I guess I'm in the middle of looking for applying myself out there. I've been rejected a couple times now, but it doesn't put me down, right? Got to keep going and keep trying. Little bit more about me. I love playing soccer. This summer I'm hoping I can play in like a tournament in Chaska. I believe my friend, he kind of gave me the invite, and I said, you guys need a goalkeeper. So I love playing goalkeeper. That's my thing. Got my pair of gloves back there, brand new. But and I'm also a new dad, I guess. I got a little 1-year-old, so, and very fun, man. I love it. So this whole COVID kind of has in a way impacted me for the better, actually, because going to school online and being able to be there for him as he's, crying or whatever he needs, I'm right there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, but I plan on graduating. This December will be this will be my last year. I'll begin my AAS degree, Associates of Applied Science in Marketing and Sales Management. And yeah, I got to plan myself out there, see where I go from here. So.
Absolutely, man. Congrats on the kid. I'm a father myself, relatively new. I have a 2-year-old daughter, and I have my first son is due March 17th, St. Patty's Day. So in about 30 days. And yeah, man, you hit the nail on the head, right? There's positives of this pandemic as well. Like I said earlier, I'm a full-time student. Without this pandemic, I wouldn't be able to be a full-time student, work here full-time, and still be able to be a dad. So just like you said, man, that's pretty awesome. What made you so interested specifically within not only just digital marketing, but also sales management?
So for me, sales, okay, this is going way back, probably 15 years ago. My first job was kind of just a restaurant bus boy, kind of. I did a lot of everything. I was basically the backbone of the pizza place where I worked at. So a lot of customer service, a lot of sales, working with the high schools, local high school games, Friday nights, football, and pizza. And that was my biggest thing for 7 years, sales. And I guess I was interested. I got into the program because I was interested in possibly starting like a food truck. And I know that that's kind of a lot of work, right? And it's not cheap, a lot of money to put in time. My wife, she's from Thailand. She loves to cook Thai food. And my mom, she was from Mexico. She loves to cook Mexican food. So I thought, hey, why not do like a combination of both? Food truck to start out, see where it goes. And hey, maybe if it's really successful, maybe open up like a small restaurant. We got to find the right location, of course. Here in Hutchinson, there's a lot of Asian foods and a couple Mexican restaurants. So I don't know if it'd be a good spot here, but so that's from the sales aspect, and the whole marketing side is more new to me. I worked at a technology company, but I was more of a production labor worker. I never really got into the whole marketing mix of things, I guess. And it's been my first class that I had for marketing and sales management was actually advertising and promotions. And I learned that I got some pretty good feedback from my professor, and I'm pretty creative, I guess, with my mind. I just never really realized it because I was always kind of stuck in my shell, I guess you could say. So, but I'm interested, and everything that you've said so far is very, very, it's intrigued me, I guess, to kind of want to learn. And I don't know the words to the whole marketing words. I should, but I'm learning them, and I'm interested. So.
Absolutely, man. So what are some questions maybe that you have for myself or Gage? Either based off of, it doesn't have to be HLS specific, it could be based off of, hey, I am somebody who's currently in my education journey. What is it that employers look for, in the market versus what HLS looks for, or, even specific marketing questions that Gage might be able more fit to answer.
So this would be kind of bad if I didn't have any questions. I guess, what was your experience that led you guys to where you're at? I mean, you kind of talked about it already a couple times now, but like, what was that push, that drive that really made you want to do and be where you're at right now, I guess? Where do you see yourself going, I guess, 5 years from now? Still doing the same thing, or of course moving up, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So those are good. Those are always good questions, right? Even a lot of people say it's always canned, and they're very common, but common questions are common for a reason. It's typically because they're good. So there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, what made me decide that I wanted to get into HR was honestly kind of like I said before. I was working in the fitness industry, and I was running gyms, and was a people manager, and really leveraged a lot of previous skills that I had from prior employment, or a prior life is what I call it. And I sat there and I kind of looked at, I would have some of my peers, other general managers, come up to me and say, hey, like, what is it that you're doing that I'm not doing? And that's always a great question to ask, because that develops a lot of self-awareness. And really what I found out is it came down to training and development of staff. And end of the day, my staff was more engaged than their staff, which caused me to ask more questions. Okay, why is that? What was I doing on a daily basis? What was I doing on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually that they weren't doing? And I went through, I literally asked those questions, and over the course of about 18 months, checked all those boxes. And I absolutely love the fitness industry, absolutely loved it. But at the end of the day, I wanted to be more of a people manager, and I wanted to influence more organizations with people management. And I knew that the best way that I could do that was in human resources. And so I did some more research and was like, all right, is this really what human resources is? Because, there's a big stigma about human resources. There's a really big one, right? Some people, when you walk into an office, they'll say, man, I don't know about human resources being in this office. That happens, right? So it's like, I aligned with what I wanted and what HR is, and I went after it, right? Just like you said, I went after it. So, in the process of getting my degree from start to finish, I'm going to get my bachelor's done in 2 years. Been averaging about 24 credits a semester. Been very busy, and where I plan on being in 5 years It's one of my favorite questions. I plan on being exponentially better than what I am now. And the reason why I say that is because if you set goals, I've learned that you will limit yourself depending on what goal you set. So the goal that I have, and this is going to sound corny, but it's true, I live it, is to be better every single day, incrementally so, just fractionally, just the tiniest little bit better every single day. And if you're incrementally better every single day, even the smallest amount, you will be shocked where you're going to be in a month, in a year, and you will be astounded where you're going to be for 5 years. So to answer your question, that's where I see myself in 5 years, incrementally better than where I am now.
I'll go ahead and answer the same couple of questions that you had there. The thing that really led me to marketing is just curiosity. I went to college and I enrolled as a business marketing major, but then being able to work inside of DECA on different business research projects with other local businesses, be able to understand exactly what these firms or companies do, it led me to believe that I definitely did not want to work at a non-marketing company doing marketing, right? Like I wouldn't want to work at a pizza shop being the marketing manager. I wouldn't want to do something like that. And I had internship experiences outside of home and local services at other marketing firms. And that really excited me, being able to work on multiple different accounts at the same time, be able to see those results. Because from my perspective, if I was working just with one company, I only see one set of results. It's a little bit less exciting for me personally. So then when I moved into internship at home and local services, the piece that really made me want to stay there after my internship is being able to see how successful we are compared to others in this specific vertical and industry and compared to other marketing firms. It really gives you that energy and that drive every day when you come in that, hey, I'm competing against somebody else that I'm working with to be able to master this specific process or have better goals for our clients. And then where I see myself in 5 years is, I told you a little bit that last fall, really Q4, I worked in traditional marketing. And the reason that I switched out of that is because it's a very heavy annual planning. So my plan is to shift fully into the traditional marketing, find that a lot more exciting and being able to be on the cutting edge of something that seems old, right? Advertising on TV, outdoor, direct mail pieces, it seems traditional, older. Being able to be on the cutting edge of new technologies such as, over the top or streaming television, electronic billboards, things like that is really exciting to me. So that's where I see myself in 5 years, is continuing to follow this marketing journey at a firm, but more on the traditional side of things. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Spinning around.
5 years from now, wow. I see myself probably, let's see, 5 years from now will be 2027. Just happy. That's kind of a common response, right? But I want to be happy where I'm at, wherever it is. I definitely don't see myself making pizzas, but who knows, right? I want to be somewhere, maybe where you guys are at right now. Maybe I see myself a little bit catching up to where I could have been. I'm 32 years old, so realistically, my mom has told me this, but I don't take it to heart. She's told me, you could have been in school, you could have been doing this 10 years ago. She's right. But yeah, I want to be somewhere where I can provide for my family, wherever that is. My range of skills or opportunities is very wide. So I appreciate this opportunity right here where I'm at. Everything that DECA has kind of given so far for me, I'm very grateful for that. And I'm curious. I'm not quite sure. I guess it's unknown right now territory, but it'll be a good place. I know that for sure. So
yeah, and I just want to talk about something you said. So when let's see, so you'll graduate in about a year?
Yes.
I'm
December
31.
Yep.
So I'm 31 myself. You know what? So you and I are the same age, man. We're still going to school together. and you know, I just want to clarify something that I said before is, you know, I said, where do I see myself in 5 years? Incrementally better getting every single day. It doesn't matter what age you are. You cannot compare yourself to other people and to other paths and to other journeys. Because like I said, you're only going to limit yourself. All you can compare yourself to is who you were yesterday, right? Especially you and I, we have kids, right? We got to set the example, and that's how I see it. I'm setting the example for my daughter and for my son to say, hey, when dad was 30, he decided to enroll in school. That's how important education is. You're doing the same thing, man. So just, you know, keep getting after it that way. What are some other questions that you may have, Jose, for us?
So far, I'm interested. You guys got me very interested in an internship position, but I guess where could I reach out to you guys as far as, are you guys on the website for DECA?
The best way, honestly, we might be getting on there in the future. Or I would absolutely love to, you know, like I told, you know, Jennifer, HLS just wants to serve DECA the best way that we can, right? We want to serve our community. That's important to us. We're learning how important that is to us. The name of the company is Home and Local Services. We want to start supporting the local services around us. And this is our first opportunity to do that. Perfect. And we are listed, homeandlocalservices.com. That's a great way, or you could always shoot an email. And if you want, you know, you know, I could message you our email information so you could have that as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Gage, do you have anything else that you would like to add for Jose?
I don't think so. I think as long as we've answered all of your questions, you understand generally what the company does, but more importantly, in my opinion, how the company does it in terms of our culture and our people and our process. I think that's everything that you need to know. I'm excited to hear that you're interested in us. You're only over there in Hutchinson, and we'd love to have a potential follow-up conversation with you.
Yeah, I got that. Everything you guys said is very great, and I got your chat here. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. That's my email address. Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions, you know, about anything at all. Like I said, we are more than happy to help.
Well, thank you so much, Michael and Gage, for such an inspiring conversation and presentation. And thanks for joining us today. And just to reiterate on your question, Jose, if you go to Minnesota Collegiate DECA.org, there's links for for their home and local services. So you can go on there to find more information. And so before we leave, we'd like to let you know that this session will be recorded. And for all the conference attendees, you can get the link sent to your email, and it'll be uploaded once we get off this call. And so our DECA bingo symbol is now on the screen for our session. I think we'll be putting it up there shortly. Yep, there it goes. And you should have received the DECA bingo card in your email on Wednesday. And please be sure to mark your DECA bingo card to attend more sessions and for a chance to win a Caribou coffee gift card. And our next session will be the grand awards and the closing session at 5:30 on YouTube. And thank you guys so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yes.